Sometimes cooperate. You gotta. Sometimes you gotta beat it into submission, like your women. I'm only kidding. Don't beat women. Okay, today I'm going to be replacing my brake pads on my 2010 Cadillac CTS Luxury Edition. Things you're going to need for this job. You're going to need new brake pads, ceramic preferably, some sort of pry bar, a C-clamp, a breaker bar with a 22 millimeter to take the tire off, and then you're also going to need a 14 millimeter to get the caliper off. So some sort of jack. Those are the tools you're going to need for this. And I would also suggest a towel and a bucket. It has to be from the post office because you can find $1,000. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tire off, which if you don't know how to do that, you got bigger problems. You shouldn't be changing your brakes on your own. So step one, you're going to take the brake fluid cap off, because when we actually compress the brakes again, compress the brakes, it's going to expand the reservoir, and we want to have it, let it expand with no pressure. So when we're done with the brakes, we're going to put the cap back on, but until we're done putting the actual brakes on, so both sides leave the cap off. So it shouldn't be this full. I don't know why it's that full, but whoever has a car before me, they filled it up and they shouldn't have. Always take the wheels off in a star pattern of lugs. So here to here to here to here to here. Same when you're tightening. This is the caliper. There's going to be a bolt there, and there's also a bolt there. We're going to do it. Okay, this is a view from the top. I'm going to take my 14 mil. I believe the loosen it. I'm going to pull up. Nope, go down. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So that goes down. That unscrews like so. And there's one more down here. Again, it's 14. So cooperate. You gotta beat it into submission, like your women. I'm only kidding. Don't beat women. I should take the bottom one off first. It's embarrassing. Sometimes this thing screws, this thing moves too, so sometimes you have to actually put a tool in there to hold it, and then you bust it loose, so that's what I just have to do. It's a 17 millimeter if you were wondering, but I just didn't have a wrench that fit that because my garage is a mess. So you take those two bolts out. Next step, put the box under there. This just comes right off, and you put this, you rest on the box, because you do not want to let this hang by the hose. You just don't want to do it. Next step, these pads just come right out. Bam. That's what this pry bar's for. You don't necessarily need it. Just remember, there's clips on these, so this side is the one with the clips. But they actually don't look that bad. I don't know why they were squeaking, but they were squeaking. Very annoying. So the next step, take the rear pad, okay, and you put it on the caliper like so. You take the C-clamp, because you have to essentially compress these pistons back into the caliper so they're flat, so that the brakes will fit on here. That is why we had the lid off up there on the reservoir, because when these compress, it lets the liquid expand. If it not, it would just come right back out because there'd be pressure in there, so that takes the pressure off. So we're going to do that. So I can get them like this. And as you can see, they're pretty much completely flat now. So then we unscrew this. And we're done with the old pad. So now that the pistons are completely level, it will actually come right back on because the brake pads are gonna be thicker, the new ones. You can tell the difference in thickness. This one's about half worn out. I just don't know why it was squeaking, but it was. So next step, you're gonna have the rear pad, and you're gonna put this brake lube here and here, and I like to put a little bit on the back of the one in the rear, just because that's just how I usually do it. So we're gonna put a little bit there, a little bit there. Hand tighten it as tight as you can. And the bottom one's probably going to spin because it spun before. So that being said, we'll see. Actually, maybe it won't. It did it. Those are on. And literally, new brake pads are installed. Simple as that. Now we just put the wheel back on, and then we'll go to the next step. So, okay. Now the wheels back on, both sides are done. We put the cap, see how full it got? It's overflowing because it should never been filled up that high. So we're gonna put the cap back on, it's gonna leak out, which is just fucking great. We're gonna enter the car. We're going to start it. We're going to pump the brakes all the way to the floor, all the way out, all the way to the floor, all the way until it gets real stiff. Now the pistons are engaged. Now we're ready to give it a test drive and see how they handle. No squeaking, no noises. Okay, now let's go on the road. Always make sure you don't have any tools under your tires when you pack up, because you do not want to run over a screwdriver and have to buy a new tire. Alright, we're gonna drive. Oh yeah, they work great. They work great. And that's how you change brakes on a 2010 Cadillac CTS 3-liter luxury edition. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers. 614 Life. Peace. You're welcome.